You're listening to Public Safety First, a podcast to help you learn about the First Responder Network Authority and how you can be part of the future of public safety technology. And now, your host.
Welcome to the Public Safety First podcast. I'm Kyle Richardson, and I serve as Senior Public Safety Advisor with the First Responder Network Authority. I'm joined today by Steve Moreland, the City Communications Coordinator for the City of Westerville, Ohio. Steve has an extensive history in emergency dispatch and served as a critical component to the City of Westerville being an early adopter to FirstNet. We're pleased that he could join us today. Welcome to the podcast, Steve.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your background and what your current role is?
I've been in public safety for 24 years. I started out dispatching with Franklin County Sheriff's Office for 5 years, and then came over here for 19 years, dispatched, and then moved into my new position.
So tell me now about how the City of Westerville is using FirstNet.
So we have a population of 39,000, small suburb of Columbus. We first started out by using it for data in the cruisers, and it was just a test, and we only did one car, and we liked it. It provided everything we needed. So we eventually put it in all of the cruisers. We use it for the CAD mapping, and the in-dash camera, I believe, uploads through it when they come back into the station. So, and connectivity issues haven't been an issue at all. So,
did you have any issues prior to coming on? Is there anything that prompted you?
Just what I was learning about FirstNet and how important it was going to be. So, didn't want anything to go down, and they were purchasing modems, and when I saw the new one that came out that was FirstNet compatible, I kind of asked if we could get that one, and that's when we started the test because it did dual SIM cards, and so we tested them against other carriers.
Yeah, we're walking through your facility here in Westerville, and that's one of the things you've iterated is that the redundancy piece of it.
Yes. So I don't like to work in panic mode. I like to plan ahead. So as many backups as I can get, or anything that will make my job easier and everybody safer right off the get-go, that's what I like. So I plan for backups for radios, whatever the best company is for data, and that's what I do.
So tell me about the end users. What's been their experience?
Well, some of the officers have it on their personal phones, and they live out of the area, and they couldn't get service before, and so I told them about FirstNet. They got on it, and they just kept thanking me about it and saying this is wonderful. So, and actually, that was the test bed originally too. We'll do a couple of this first before we switch over. I mean, I wanted to test all the facets of it before you dive right in.
So have you had any applications that you have seen out there in the marketplace and said, hey, we need to jump on this and start using it? And have you put any of those onto the network?
Well, for our presidential debate, we brought in one of the cell-on-wheel trucks, and because we had a population influx, and it was a national televised event, didn't want anything to go wrong. So I called FirstNet rep, asked him to check the network. He checked the network, brought the truck down for me. We had some extra Wi-Fi hotspots we spread out just to beef up everything for us. And that worked out really well.
Last October 2019, that was the fourth 2019 Democratic presidential debate, where thousands of people flocked to Otterbein University campus. Can you tell me how public safety in your office planned for the safety and security for such a large event?
We only had 3 weeks notice to start it. We met with CNN, and that was on the police side. so I wasn't involved in most of that until they had all that gathered up, and then said, okay, here's who we're working with, this is what we want to do it. So, which we have an awesome drone team that we used. That was another thing we used FirstNet for, was we had a SIM card. We were shooting live video to the EOC through the drones that we had, and that was very valuable. Anywhere we wanted to go or see something live, incident command could see it and have it move on somewhere else if something popped up, and the video was perfect. It went off good. We ended up with eight departments. Franklin County Sheriff's Office brought 150 deputies themselves. Delaware County, FBI, we had some hazmat, military department, and a couple SWAT teams, bomb squad, joint terrorism task force. We had a lot of people here. We had to have a big police presence to kind of squelch what could happen. As we were looking at some of the protest videos from Houston and Detroit, we didn't know what we were getting into.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small town.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that you were able to reach back to some other cities that had experienced the same thing and get some best practices. Now, what was the role of FirstNet in the planning process?
So I called my FirstNet rep and told him, hey, in 3 weeks we're having a debate. I don't want data to fail, or the phones if possible. So can you check the network and do whatever you can to make sure that don't happen? So that's when he got the truck down here.
And by truck, you mean the deployable?
Yes.
Yeah.
The cell on wheels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they came early enough where when the first position they were in, it wasn't the best position for them. They found that out right away. And then we got them another spot that they liked, because one of the buildings next to it was scheduled to have 700 reporters in it. So, I mean, you can just imagine cell phone Armageddon, everybody, what's going to happen.
Yeah, so that drone video you showed at the Cincinnati forum we had, it was incredible. It was just high definition. You were zooming in, and you can really get close on it and provide that extra situational awareness for those in the EOC. And then were you then pushing that out to devices or anything like that?
We pushed it out through YouTube Live, a private account, so it wasn't public or anything. It was coming straight into the EOC. They emailed the link, and then you could have it. Looking back, yeah, we could have push it out to the cruisers. If we need anybody we sent the email to could basically pull it up. So, but we wanted to make sure the EOC had it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could have, with that connection that we had, we could have sent it anywhere.
So looking at that event as the baseline, and what are you looking at for enhanced capability?
The next thing I'd like to have is push to talk over, like our radios over the phones, so that we could save money on radios. For people that don't want or need an $8,000 radio, but has a smartphone and needs to talk on the radio or monitor the radio. And I eventually would like to see a way to have mapping where we could actually map out where all of our people are in public safety. For EOC, that would have been nice to know where everybody's at just by looking. And then pushing out more to more people. So the drone footage could have went to other people as well, if needed. So
the features are continuing to roll out. The tool set is growing, as I like to say. We have the local control portal with the ability to uplift, your extended primary folk, or even going in for events ahead of time in a year in advance and presetting those. You have the advanced network status tool. The tool set's continuing to grow. You have the baseline of the network working. It's adding different features onto it. The FirstNet push to talk is coming soon. It's a really exciting time for FirstNet users. So I wanted to ask you if you had any advice for any other agency who may be thinking about joining FirstNet. You guys did your due diligence. Is there anything that you might have for another agency that's considering it?
Well, the deployables are free if you have an account. And if you can't afford to go big, you can go small and still get an account and still have those tools available to you. At least give them a try and start out small with whatever you can do. And when you see the advantage that you're going to get, then you can apply what you need to get permanently. Always talk to the other departments. I had to borrow equipment from 3 different departments just to make communications work. So don't be scared and plan ahead, especially for interoperability, whether it's data or radios.
Hey, what drives you, Steve, to do the work that you do, to come in this office day to day, and you have such a big responsibility to keep everybody's communications running? What drives you to do that? What's your motivation?
Well, I guess I would have to say that I want to make sure that, well, with the radios, I want to make sure that it works correctly and never gets anybody hurt. And now that we're mixing, data and FirstNet and everything, you gotta kind of make sure that everything's gonna work correctly and not get any other first responders hurt. So that's what I think about every day when I come in. I'm real anal about everything I do, just triple testing everything to make sure that it works. Because I don't want to be responsible for anything happening.
Yeah. Well, great job with the debate. Thanks so much for joining the podcast. We look forward to keeping this relationship going and continue to meet your communications needs with FirstNet.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening today. We're excited to have you join our podcast community. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can learn more about the First Responder Network Authority at firstnet.gov and learn about FirstNet products and services at firstnet.com.